Hello everyone, it's me, Connor from C from Gaming, and I'm here to make a unscripted memories episode about the Wii U and Switch's third-party support. I had a whole other version of this episode made. I had it recorded, and then 2 days later they announced WWE 18 for the Switch, which kind of ruined the whole purpose of one point of my video, and so now I'm kind of stuck doing it again. Good. But yeah, I'm gonna try not ramble as much as I did in the original video, which I think you can see on Patreon if I decide to upload it there. So for now, let's just talk about my memories with third parties. I mentioned in my other videos that I didn't get into third party gaming until around 2011 when the 3DS had little to play, so I got Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, and I loved it. It was a fun port, it was a good game, and there was lots of stuff to do. I think I spent a good 100 hours in that game, and it was a good game. So, ever since, I gave third-party games on the Virtual Console and the 3DS from time to time a shot, and even some indies. And ever since then, I've pretty much gone third-party support and given third parties a chance on pretty much every other system I own, even the PS4, especially the PS4. So when the Wii U came out, I was willing to give the same third parties a chance again, because on the 3DS I gave some third parties like Capcom a chance, and I was thinking, oh, I'll give Hudson, Konami, Capcom, and whoever else releases their games in the Wii U a chance that they release good games. And on launch day, there were over 20 games. A bit too much for my taste, and the only one I happened to care for was Scribblenauts Unlimited, a game I got for Christmas that year. So I got it for Christmas, enjoyed it, thought it was a fun game, but then I just was stuck with the eShop drought, because there was an eShop drought during the first 3 months of the Wii U's life, and the only game on the Wii U eShop that I thought was really a must-have during the first 4 months was 1 or 2, Future Legend of Rhythm Alien, which was a great game. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was an amazing one, and it was a lot of fun. I actually 100% the game, and it was a ton of fun. It's one of my favorite games from Gaijin Games, or Choice for Provisions as they're known now, so I'm excited to get one of free when it comes on Steam later this year. So, however, there were a few other third-party games that were retail I gave a shot during the 2013 era of the Wii U. I remember buying Need for Speed Most Wanted U with my mom's EA game card she gave me for my birthday a few years beforehand because she didn't know what a Nintendo Point card was. And I finally got to use that card, and I got Need for Speed Most Wanted for a good price of $20, which was a good deal for me because I didn't want to spend too much on that game in case I didn't like it. And sure enough, I didn't like it. I played it for a bit, thought the racing and chasing of evading the cops and whatnot was very fun, but then I got a bit mad when I heard that the Wii U version wasn't getting all the DLC that the other systems would get in the future, and also the fact that it kept crashing a lot. The game was buggy and updates didn't seem to fix it, so a good few months later, I think it was actually a year later, or maybe two, when I was looking through my old Wii U library, I sold the game because I was pretty much mad at the way they supported it. And sure enough, they didn't put another Need for Speed game, or actually, EA didn't even put another game period to the Wii U. Even though I gave it a chance and some others did, they're crappy ports, even though they tried to make it better than their Madden ports at least. It just sadly wasn't good enough. Now that leads me to the next Wii U third-party retail game I bought, and that's Injustice: Gods Among Us. And that was an amazing game. Me and my friend Paul loved to play it. We loved the multiplayer. We'd always loved to fight each other. It was a great fighting game. On the Wii U, it ran pretty much perfectly except for a glitch where you'd reset to level 1 online every now and then. But that could be fixed by doing some avatar stuff. But overall, it was a good port in the sense of the base game. It was fun, fast, and challenging. There was lots to do, and even though it lacked achievements to the other versions, at the time I only had a Wii U, so I didn't care. And it was just a fun game overall, achievements notwithstanding. I even bought the DLC that eventually came out for the Wii U in the summer of 2013. Like, I think I bought, there was Scorpion. Scorpion was one of the ones that came out. I didn't buy it. Oh, I bought one of the costume packs. In fact, I think I bought the one that came to Wii U before the other systems. I think it was some Anime Con pack, Ami Con. some convention pack where like Harley Quinn and some of the other DC characters would be in special costumes. I bought that DLC the day it came out because it was timed exclusive to the Wii U, and I planned to buy the second wave of characters when they came out, like that Zamfantha lady with the hat. I don't remember her name. I'm not a comic book nut. I mean, like Teen Titans and whatnot of the DC universe. So I played as Raven a lot. But in the end, they didn't port the second wave of DLC. In fact, I'm pretty sure looking back, they only ported the first wave of DLC to the Wii U because in the back of the box when it came out, it said they had DLC available, but there was no DLC planned for launch. So they made late ports of the DLC, in my opinion, to probably get away from any lawsuits or false advertising you get stuck with. So sadly, the second wave didn't come out, and even though I loved the game to death and played it a lot, I sold it a year later because I was disgruntled with WB's, poor treatment of Wii U owners. So those are the big retail third-party games on the Wii U I bought and supported with my honest, hard-earned money, and one of them I loved, and the other I didn't like. Both I sold because in the end, third parties shafted the Wii U. And even if they didn't really mean to, they still didn't really give it their all. And so I stuck to indies who pretty much didn't change any content from the other versions if they didn't need to. And of course, the Virtual Console was a source of third parties for me to play as well. Though third parties didn't necessarily care about the Virtual Console, neither did Nintendo, I still bought a lot of Virtual Console games, mostly from Konami, Capcom, Hamster, when they didn't give the Jadico games a City connection, and whoever else released a cool game. If it was a cool looking game, I bought it, no matter who it was from. And in the end, I got about 140 Wii U Virtual Console games, maybe a bit more total. And I don't know how many there are total in the North American store, but that's a lot of them. So needless to say, I was a Virtual Console nut. And for the third-party situation, I did give them a chance, even when people on Miiverse always mocked them whenever a new game like Mario RPG didn't come out. Because that was common, whenever like so-and-so didn't come out, Miiverse would complain and whine, even if the game that came out was good and actually a lot of fun. I know this happened several times with third-party games, most notably the obscure ones like Sprunker, though that's debatably bad or good. And I also know some games like Earth Defense Force, Axlay, especially Axlay, which is considered to be one of Konami's best shooter games. That got the Miiverse on that was so horrible. People complained about them not getting Mario RPG, I believe, or Mario 3, because Mario 3 was another game people complained about, even though it was on Wii mode. All the games were on Wii mode, but Mario 3 was on everything else too. But yeah, people complain on every third-party Miiverse community for no reason, even if the game was amazing, like Axlay. So I gave third-party games on the Wii U Virtual Console a good chance, probably more than the retail games, but I don't think others did. Heck, even now, Konami is supporting the Wii U Virtual Console to TurboGrafx games, freaking finally, and I buy some of them off and on. I have spare funds and I want to stream for the gameplay channel, as you may have seen with my videos of Devil Crush in the past few weeks. And overall, that's pretty much my main memories for the Wii U third-party situation. I did buy some, like, eShop only games from the third parties like Capcom. I bought both DuckTales and Dungeons and Dragons, but I played through both of them and enjoyed them, but in the end, I considered DuckTales Remastered to be better on the PS3, and Dungeons and Dragons to be better on the Japanese PS3, where it got a retail version that had extra content. In fact, I think I'm going to get that when I'm able to import it, because Amazon JP has it sold out in PlayAsia, something I don't want to deal with if I can. So come 2017, which is like only a few months ago, gosh. And in March, I bought Super Bomberman R with my Nintendo Switch because there was a Konami game, a revival of a TurboGrafx game, and I thought if it sold well, it'd lead to more Konami and Hudson revivals. And sure enough, it sold well. I think Konami's happy with it, even though their whole Japanese company is still being a prick to their employees. But it's a great game. Bomberman R is a lot of fun. The updates made it even better, and meanwhile, the blast, not pun intended, with the single player mode. So Bomberman R, being an exclusive, was fun right from the get-go. And And then a few months later, I bought Street Fighter 2, the not Ultra Challengers, the Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers for the Nintendo Switch as well, using some trading credit because I heard some people say it wasn't that good of a port. But it surprisingly is a good port. Compared to the Street Fighter knockoffs and the Neo Geo that flood the eShop every other week, it's one of the best games in the system, well, next to some other games like Blaster Master Zero and Go Mark the Wolves, a Neo Geo game I actually love. But Street Fighter 2 is just so fun to play on the Switch. It's easy to play multiplayer with the Joy-Cons, it's just a lot of fun, and online is great, which is surprising because the Switch has a horrible Wi-Fi signal. Unlike other games where I get disconnected constantly if I'm even sitting on top of the router, I stay on Street Fighter 2 for hours on end, and it's just a lot of fun. I play as a god, it's a lot of fun. You may even see some of my online matches on here through the replays I recorded. So that's my second third-party retail game I got, and third is Cave Story, one that I'm going to talk about in Eternal Memories, and I bought it for the physical edition that had lots of goodies. I unboxed that one a while ago. But outside of the eShop exclusives and the Neo Geo games I get every now and then, I don't really buy much games myself from third parties to review on Nintendo Switch unless I get a review code, because then I get feedback and whatnot. But in terms of making my own investment, I don't buy the Switch versions of a game if it's on other systems I can afford. Why? Well, it's because Nintendo Switch, like the Wii U, lacks an achievement system. And while in the early days of the Wii U, it didn't really matter much because most games' achievements, they didn't really amount to much. They were just like, oh, do this and that, and they had like only 12 and such. But now on the PS4 and like Xbox One, they have a lot more. They are like different tiers now, like gold, bronze, silver, and platinum on the PS4. And on Steam, I think it's only based on percentage, which just means the rare trophies are the harder ones and easy trophies are the easy ones, so numbers don't matter. But the Switch has nothing. Nothing at all. The freaking iPhone, has an achievement system. And even Nintendo's games on iPhone, Mario 1 and Fire Emblem Heroes, as simple as those achievements are, they have an achievement system. In Nintendo Switch, they don't have an achievement system. Which is kind of stupid, because when you get a game like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 on a Nintendo Switch that's a late port, has no DLC included, and it's just the game on a handheld, if you don't even have all the same content as the other systems, it's not really worth buying in my opinion. And I know, theoretically, they could have every other thing perfect, but not the achievements, because it's not part of System OS, so it's harder to incorporate, and they'd have to include in the games themselves, which if they didn't do before would be an unnecessary waste of time. But if it was part of System OS, they could do it like they do on all the other systems. So that's why Nintendo, being stupid enough to lack achievements on the only system out on the market right now to not have them, when the iPhone, this thing, can get achievements on games that are simpler than like Pong, it's kind of stupid. I get why Nintendo doesn't want to do it. They don't want to bloat their games. They like people to explore and make their own ways to beat the game, like in Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I don't mind that. That's why I buy exclusives on the Switch, because there's no inferior version in that case. The Switch version is usually the best version if it's the only version available, or it's Switch and 3DS. So, and then heck, even in some cases, multi-plats like Disgaea 5 are the superior version because they include achievements in the game itself. You know, they, again, have to program it in and do extra work, and NIS America did it for Disgaea 5, and that was an amazing game. I actually was surprised it had achievements, and I found it to be the best version of the game. Granted, not all third parties want to make the extra hard effort to do it because it's unnecessary work in some cases, but that's an option. I think third parties that are at least AAA and that games focus on achievements in general, I think they should at least try to put those achievements in so that way the Switch version doesn't feel like an inferior port. So yeah, I skipped pretty much Lego City Undercover, Puyo Puyo Tetris, that has an in-game achievement system I didn't know about until recently, and I skipped Rhyme because that got a late port, and I'm going to skip Ukulele on the Switch because that's a late port, and they didn't even try with that late port. At least Rhyme's giving you a soundtrack in a physical box, Ukulele just gives you $40 crap. And no achievements, but the achievements aren't even that big of a deal in Ukulele, but in games like Rhyme, it is a big deal, and for the most part, achievements give or take, like the Arcade Archives games, I say I bought those. They technically have achievements in the other systems, but they just basically tell you get the high score, and only a set amount of high score. Now on the Switch, I can do that easily. In fact, they consider me the easiest achievements in other systems. So I was like, why should I bother getting on the PS4 for a few easy achievements when I can challenge myself and get a higher score on the Switch, which I can look up anywhere on the go because it has online leaderboards. Another good thing about the Switch, it at least has online leaderboards like the other versions. So some games don't need the achievements from other versions, while some games I think benefit from achievements, like Binding of Isaac, which does have achievements on the Switch. So yeah, that's my very brief thoughts, brief being 16 minutes, it's half the length of my other video, of the Nintendo Switch and third parties. I think overall the third party situation on the Nintendo Switch is not as bad as people think. The eShop's horrible, yeah, there was a big drought, but that's because Nintendo's not giving people dev kits, which is stupid. But in terms of like big third parties like Capcom not porting Mega Man Legacy Collection and Disney Afternoon Collection, I think really the main reason they didn't port those is because those games started development too late to be ported to Switch. And heck, Disney Afternoon Collection was not even developed by Capcom, it was developed by Digital Eclipse, which I don't even think has a dev kit. And even if they did, they'd have to get it from Capcom, Japan, it'd be a complicated process. They wouldn't have time to release an April game on the Switch that just came out in March. And I think other games like Call of Duty World War II suffer from this too. They've been in development for like a year now. Porting the Switch would probably cause the game to be delayed on other platforms, or they'd risk a late port on Switch, which would be a bad idea in my opinion, because late ports are a disaster if you're not an indie developer, because then it causes the sales to fall if like people are expecting the game. If like one system doesn't get the game on the same time as the other systems unless it has exclusive content like Shovel Knight, that game sold well on all platforms because it has some sort of gimmick to get you to buy it again on other systems. PlayStation had Kratos, Xbox had Battletoads, and Switch had Spectre Knight. But other games like Call of Duty, if like the Switch version of Call of Duty came out in like January, no one would buy it. Nobody at all. Because simply put, no one's gonna buy late ports on the Switch, especially if they're inferior, even if the developer wasn't intended to be, or because they could just get onto other systems early. So I don't think the Switch's third party situation with like big companies like Activision and Capcom is that big of a deal right now. This is Leo 1, Switch just came out, dev kits aren't even available to indies who want their games on the Switch. I think we should come back in 2018, see if people who can get dev kits, see if they actually do lose them, and see the Switch third party situation improves. For now, I think this is a case of Nintendo being stupid with the dev kits in terms of why third parties aren't coming to Switch. And as for me, I'll just buy third-party games that appeal to me, like Mario Rabbids and like Calyx's games, because they have physical goodies instead of racing plastic. So yeah, this is Seafoam Gaming, making a short video rambly it of my memories with the Wii U and the Switch third-party situations, and my thoughts for the future, which you just heard. This was a bit of a short video, but I plan to make some Eternal Memories videos near the end of August and get back into my normal groove. I think there's only going to be one or two more Unscripted Memories videos in the future. So for now, bye!